see that larger cloud at the top? Well, I made it yesterday using a 2-part push mold, this one right here, and I got a couple comments asking how I made it, so I was going to show you that today. First, you're going to start with a simpler shape like a cloud, and I went ahead and bisked this piece, but you can just use a dry piece of clay as well. Bisking it just makes it a little stronger. Then I'm going to take 2 clay balls of the same size. These are going to be the front and back of our push molds. Then I just push the piece in to the clay halfway. First, I squish it with just my hands, and then I use the table to get the back of the piece nice and flat, and then actually really make sure that the cloud is halfway. You want it to be as even as possible for releasing it. If it's way thicker on one side than the other, it's a little bit harder to get the piece out like it is on my original little molds, but I'll show you that in a second. Then I just go ahead and push in the other side, again using the table and my hands and making sure that you cannot see the cloud all the way around. Then once you have that, I just go ahead and boop all of the sides on the table to get them nice and even. And after I am happy enough with the shape, I don't need it to be perfect because it's just for me, I go ahead and mark in some registration marks. This is just so that way I know that the mold is lined up correctly when I'm actually pushing the pieces together. Once I have that, then I go ahead and take out my original and check if the mold looks good. And in this case, it came out perfect first try. You can also cornstarch the piece that goes in the middle to make it easier. Then I'm just going to go ahead and draw what the inside is on the outside, so that way when I have a whole bunch of these, I can tell them apart. This one is a cloud, so we got a cloud, and I'm gonna let it set aside to dry before putting it in the kiln, and then we will have this. So this is the one that I use for most of my little clouds, and all you have to do, stick a piece of clay in, make sure that there's no air bubbles, and then squish, and you'll have a little cloud with a whole bunch of outside stuff. I just use a little tool to cut all of that excess off and then a sponge to smooth it out, and you've pretty much replicated your original. Now you can also do a 1-part push mold, which is the way that they typically are for simpler shapes like a star. This one doesn't have all the little bumps and grooves, so I just push a little clay in there and then out pops a star with some cutting and smoothing. You end up with cute little charms. Okay, have fun.